Assalamu alaikum, good evening, namaskar, sat sri akal to all the gorgeous people of the world and especially Sri Lanka. Well, Sri Lanka has come back in the tournament and with a bang. Angelo Mathews had said in the last interview that if Sri Lanka play aggressive brand of cricket and if they are able to chase, well, they can get ahead. And that's what they did by beating, rather, I would not like to use the word revenge in cricket, but probably taking one back from Afghanistan and taking that crucial 2 points. Angie, welcome to the show once again.
Thanks, Danish.
So tell us about that match which Sri Lanka won like a thriller 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was a fantastic effort by the boys. I thought they played some really good cricket, and especially after that heavy loss, they came back really hard. They had to regroup, and which they have done. And also, I thought that confidence will take them a long way in this tournament. I mean, if we can beat the big guns, we are really up on the money, and we can, you know, play really good cricket, and you will have a great chance of winning the Asian Cup. But again, this confidence, it's just history. We've got to once again, go out there and show what we did. I mean, what we have in store, and then try and beat the Indians. If we can beat the Indians, I mean, we have a really good chance of reaching the finals.
Like before I come to that match where they beat Afghanistan, in the knockout game against Bangladesh, also they showed character. In fact, they were done and out when they lost the captain, but the fast bowler came and hit some few boundaries and made them win.
Absolutely. I was really happy when Asita Fernando, the debutant, then walked in, and we all know that he could bat. I mean, he could hold his bat, and he got those 2 fours, which was invaluable for the team. And I mean, I would say Bangladeshis took him lightly, but he got those 2 shots executed really well, and then fortunately for us, we were able to get over the line. But I thought that was also a fantastic effort by the entire unit, especially chasing. Chasing makes it a little bit easier in Sharjah, but you have to bat really well once again. I mean, maybe I'm not sure whether the dew was there or not, but in Sharjah, you never know what kind of a total is good enough batting first. So I think it's a really good option chasing in Sharjah. And also we saw even yesterday when Pakistan chased against India, the wickets are really nice, probably coming on a bit better than the first half. But again, if you win the toss, I would bat second in the next game as well.
All right. Now, the match against Afghanistan. Afghanistan were going very hard with Gurbaz, taking the bowlers on. And then we saw that fight back of Sri Lanka where they kept them to a minimum total. I would say a total which was chaseable. So you have to give credit to the bowlers, right, Angie?
Absolutely. I mean, I thought we pulled back really well in the last 4 to 5 overs. They were really batting well, and then they were on target for a 200, probably close to a 200. But they lost their way. I thought we bowled extremely well. We executed the plans. We had clear plans, and it was a fantastic effort by the bowlers, which gave the batsmen confidence to go out there and take on the bowlers.
And when they batted, they started off well with the openers giving them a good start, which always makes a difference with Philpatun Nisanka scoring 35, Kusal 36, and Quickfire 36. Let's accept that 19 ball 36, it gives you that impetus and the heavy start.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we want. We want impact players, scoring off a few balls. I mean, Kusal has been batting extremely well. Kusal has been carrying that form into the series as well, from the domestic tournament to the Asia Cup, and he's shown his class. Apart from that, first game, I thought he came back really well with the like other two innings, which really made an impact to the team. And Pathum also, held on one end brilliantly, which, I mean, that is his role. Obviously, he can't go with a 200 or 150 strike rate, but what he can do is, hit the gaps, run hard. And I thought the openers gave a really solid start, where Charita Salanka, unfortunately, hasn't been in good form, but Dhanushka Gunathalika came in and batted really well. He got a 30 odd within no time. And that really gave us the platform to kind of launch from there. And we all know that we have the players to finish off games, and we are betting deep as well. So all in all, it was a fantastic effort, but not forgetting Bandu Rajapaksa's that cameo that really took away the game from Afghanistan, because the turning point for me was taking the Afghan three spinners over 30 runs, because they hardly go at 30 runs. They are world class bowlers, but our guys took them for more than 30, which means the other bowlers will also go for runs, because the spinners have been bowling exceptionally well, whatever the conditions. So I thought that was the turning point where Rashid Khan got only one wicket, and going for more than 35 runs was a crucial part in our game.
That was going to be my next question, that Sri Lankan attack Rashid Khan. I remember Kusal hitting for 2 sixes in his very first over and put him on the back foot.
Absolutely. So Kusal is one player who will pick the length very quickly. And if you're slightly short, for another batter, it may be not very short, but for Kusal, because he's also a wicket keeper and he picks the length really quickly, and he's got super hands. So those were not very bad balls from Rashid Khan, which he took 17 off his over. I thought he played some really good shots. Rashid was just off his line, but the length was not that short, where Kusal Mendes picked it really well and early, and he hit it for a couple of sixes, where at that time, the batters got a lot of confidence with those two shots, where we all know that Rashid Khan is a champion bowler and not many people take him on. So a lot of teams will obviously want to just nudge him around, 6, 7 over. And then if, most of them get 25 in his 4 overs, most of the teams will be happy. But I thought it was an exceptional performance by the batters.
Now, the big game against India, as you said, the big boys, Sri Lanka will take confidence with 2 wins back to back. How do you see this game going about tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. So we all know Indians are playing really good cricket. They've got some top batters, good experienced bowlers, and it's not going to be an easy game. But we shouldn't be putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. We just have to go out there and just play with freedom, and like how they did play in the last 2 games, because those 2 games were crucial for us, and also we were under extreme pressure. But I thought the boys responded really well. They came out, firing all guns, and that's what you have to do. We know that India is a heavyweight, and obviously if you don't have to concentrate on India too much, because then you kind of lose your concentration on what you have to do. So you just worry about your skill, your execution, and then just go out there and try and execute it perfectly.
Well, Angelo Mathews says, don't worry about the opposition, how heavyweight they are. Worry about your skills and go and execute on the field. We'll have to wait and watch that. But Angelo, India are coming on the back of a defeat, and Sri Lanka on the back of 2 wins. Confidence definitely of Sri Lanka must be high, but you see India coming strong and harder at Sri Lanka to survive in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean that's when they play their best cricket. Obviously, when they lose 1 or 2 games, that's when they really come hard at the opposition, and we've got to be aware that that they will come really hard at us. And as I said, that's why I said not to worry about what kind of cricket that they are going to play, because we know that they'll be very aggressive um, with bat and ball, and we just have to worry about facing that one ball at a time and bowling that one ball at a time. And it's for the 20 overs, if we concentrate hard on what we have to do, the job at hand, I think we will give a really good fight for the Indians. And once again, the batters are in really good nick. I mean, one or two can obviously fail, but whoever who gets going has to just finish off the game, or if we bat first, we've got to try and put up that challenging store, rather than, obviously the conditions will matter, but we've got to put up that challenging, which I feel by looking at the last last few games, 170 plus is kind of a challenging score. So you never know what happens if you get those runs on the board. I mean, if you go to score 200, 210, thinking that India are heavyweights and we never know what kind of runs will be enough, then you will lose a plot. So you got to try and plan out for 170, 180 maximum, and then bowl really well, tight lines, squeeze them in. That's how we play, and we can put a lot of pressure on them.
Here is a question for you, Angelo. You know what has happened in Dubai so far from the last World Cup? Teams chasing have won almost every game, barring the Hong Kong games. So we're talking about the big boys, or the teams which have been playing have won chasing. Now, you mentioned a point that you don't target 200. Now, whether it was Afghanistan in the match against Sri Lanka or India against Pakistan, they started heavy and they were going bang, bang. And when you go a little hard, there is bound that you take risk and you lose wickets. And in that 200 becomes 170 and 180, but it's not been defendable in the last two games. We've seen that, Angelo.
Yeah, so it's all about how we play on the day, and it can go either way. So if you have that attitude, you can go either way. So if you go really hard in the first 6 overs, you tend to lose a couple of wickets, because you go really hard at a strike rate of about 200, and then you tend to lose wickets because you take a lot of risk. So I'm not saying you don't have to take a lot of risk. Obviously, there are roles, like different roles for different batters, and then you obviously have to sort of get 45 to 55 runs in that first 6 overs, and then it's how you bat in the middle part. I'm not saying you only have to slog to get 170 or 180. You can run hard, you can hit the gaps, and then the odd boundary comes in. You can use the pace. You can, when you feel like it, you can take them on and hit it over the park. So it's about smart batting. It's not about how much you want, because sometimes you lose this plot when you think about 200 or 250 runs. But when you think about 170 runs, sometimes you end up with 200 runs. Whereas sometimes the other way around, you think about 200, 210 runs, because Indians are heavyweight, and obviously they've got some fantastic power hitters in their lineup. But you lose the plot because you try to get more runs, and then you end up 30, 40 runs short. Whereas you plan for 170, 175, and then you might end up, getting 190, 200. So it's about how you play in the middle part. And then if you have wickets from the 16th to the 20th over, then you can really capitalize and make it double. So I think it's all about being smart. It's all about being tactically smart, how you want to go about it.
You mentioned an important point that you need to run hard, and we saw what Virat Kohli did yesterday. The way he was running as if he's a youngster, he's 33, 34 years old, but he was probably the difference between India scoring 140 on 150 and reaching 180. So that's what I think is a clear indication for both the teams, that if you want to play smart cricket, like you mentioned, you will get the odd boundary, take your singles into doubles, doubles into triple. That's what Angelo says, correct?
Yeah, so if you look at Virat, how he played, so he started off really well, and but when you lose a couple of wickets on the other end, you kind of shift gears because you want to make sure that you get to a decent total. And then as a senior, a senior player, you know that if you get 170, 180, you're giving your bowlers a chance. Whereas the rate that you're going, and if you suddenly lose a couple of wickets, and then if you still want to go hard from the very first ball when the new batter's coming in, you might lose a couple more, and then you will not even score 150. So that's where the experience came in of Virat, where he ran really well. He hit those gaps. He got the other batter to get going, have a look at the wicket as well, and then take it on. So that's how you play in the middle. So you really have to concentrate on running hard, hitting the gaps, and then when you want to, you can always go over the top.